Hello friends and welcome back. Barb Pask here tonight to paint for you. I have an 8x10 Centurion panel. I did not tone it tonight. I'm playing around, trying something different. I am going to try to paint this deer. Isn't that a sweet photo? This is from Reference Free Photos, a Facebook page that I follow. Let me try to move that over so we can get our iPad on here. I did go ahead, as you can see, and I sketched it on to save a little time. This is how I do my pet portraits. I do a 9-square grid and transfer the drawing over. You can get more particular. I mean, you could divide it up more so you get, because I'm kind of still guessing, you know, where exactly the eye goes. So you could get a lot more precise and do a smaller grid. But this is how I do it. And I'm really going to paint this like I paint a pet portrait. My goals are, one, to making painterly, so I may work a lot with a bristle brush tonight. Another is to try to look at him close and get those shifts that I see in value. So we may be pre-mixing some color. I mean, he's basically one, let me show you again, basically one color, but see, there's a cooler area on his nose up there, probably from the sky. So we'll try to look for those. Look at those eyelashes, my goodness. If that's one advantage to leaving it white. If I had a pet or an animal that had white whiskers with a board, you can scratch in and expose the white and create those whiskers. His obviously are dark, so that doesn't work for me. So we're going to try to work with one of my Rosemary and Company bristles. I think it's a, geez, can I even read it on here? No, I'll just show you, give you an idea, comparison to the size. So that's what it is. Can't really read it anymore. So we'll start like I always do with the darkest darks that I see. So we'll take some transparent red oxide and some ultramarine blue, which is pretty dark. And that's what we'll start with. And again, we may come over and do some pre-mixing before we start laying any color on the animal. Oh, one thing I did not get out is I do use solvent-free liquid once in a while, so let's get that out in case we need to get the paint to move a little bit more for us. There is an artist that I love on Instagram, and there's probably somebody better than her for animals, but I don't know of anybody. Jennifer Gennari, I think, Gennari. Look her up, just excellent. Her animals are just beautiful. Well, let me show you. Anyway, she's offering a course that I'm considering, an online course, but let me show you some of her animals. I mean, again, she's the best. Look at that. And you know, they're painterly, they're brushy, let's see if we can move this along. Aren't they beautiful? They're just beautiful. And she leaves the bottom of them unfinished frequently like that. She seems to sell everything she paints. That's her pencil sketch. I don't know if she left it that way. She might have, though. She goes by Jen_art on Instagram. She's fabulous. I mean, just amazing. Again, I think I do a pretty good job on them, but she's so good. I mean, there's an example, this nice color on this pet. Look how he shifts in the values and the brushwork. See, I noticed she scratches in all her whiskers. And again, you can do that if they're white, on a white board. She's phenomenal. I mean, just beautiful. I think she does portraits and stuff too. She's out of New York. And look at that. Don't you just love it? There's always, like I said, she's great. There might be someone better, but I don't know of anybody. So she kind of inspired me to paint a deer. And again, I went to Facebook, and it's a page that I follow. It's reference free photos that photographers offer up that you're allowed to use. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to lay in the darks that I see. I didn't tone, so I may regret that. You know how I like my tone boards. And again, this is a big brush for some of this work, but we'll see how we do with it. Happy Thanksgiving to you. It's come and gone, and now we got to think about Christmas, don't we? I've started online shopping the last few days. I haven't been out. I will go out some, but you know, why go out when you can do most of it online? They deliver it for free, and unless you enjoy that, you know, rat race, I don't so much. What's nice is if you got your shopping done, sometimes my husband and I get out when it gets very close to Christmas. Not really to shop for anybody because we'll be done, but get out and see the lights and maybe go out to dinner, and it's enjoyable. I mean, I want him to read real, but I don't care if he's a bit painterly. And I cropped him. I usually crop him to fit the format, so that kind of meant running his ear off. They're just a beautiful animal, aren't they? Yeah, like I said, she's offering an online course, and we'll think about it. I'll let you know if I do it, but I looked it over, what it offers, and it tells you a lot. I mean, her brushes, her paints, how she transfers her drawings, so I'm assuming she doesn't draw right on the canvas. Then she starts, you know, kind of like I am with the darks, and so that's the darkest darks that I see. So I think what we'll do is we're going to mix up some color, give ourselves lots of options. So I'm going to bring you over and go you down. Get you a little closer there. And I want to give myself some different values, I'm going to first, just because I want to, I'm going to mix up some orange over to the side. Okay, just to have that available to myself. Now, as I look at that animal, I have burnt sienna on here, and I love that color. You know, that's a really good start. Burnt sienna would be a good start. So this could be like the base, right? So let's pull some to the side. Maybe add a little orange to it. Maybe add a little white. So I want to give myself 3 values. And some of this, like I said, on the top of his nose is cool. So I think some of it We'll put some blue in, maybe we'll make even a little darker. I'm just looking back and forth. You know, there's 3 values really, right there. I'm not saying that's how we're leaving it, but I'm going to take white and just a little bit of this because he's got some areas on his neck. I don't want them pure white. I do want a little color in them. So we'll leave something down there really light. Okay. We're just trying some different things. Let's put a little yellow in some of this. That's pretty nice. You know, just give yourself lots of options, lots of different ways you can go. And it may not be enough. I didn't mix up big piles, and I am going to use a bristle, so I probably will use more paints. But again, just give yourself, we'll be in and out of that, and we'll even, you know, intermix probably back and forth between some of these piles. But the more options, the better, really. Get you back up there. Now I'm not going to be able to see around you. Pretty good. All right. See how long we can stay with this big brush. Now I could keep going from dark, dark, dark to light, or I could lay in my lighter colors that I see right now. He's very light around the eye. The neck is very light. But I think I'm going to work up on the face. So I think what we'll do is we'll work up around the nose and the eye where I see that it's lighter. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up missing my tone in the end. You know how I like that. You know, and I'm laying in some of this lighter stuff, but it doesn't mean we won't have to redo it. This is basically white and burnt sienna. I did this short the other day, 2 shorts where I was painting in town like the week before Thanksgiving. I felt so lucky to get out. It was just a beautiful day, and painted this house in town. You can go back and see it, but the woman did end up just going to buy it, which is great. So I went back on it and put the little sign in that was out in front. You know, I didn't want that in there otherwise unless she was interested in it. So she's real excited about it, and it's drying. That's the best day out, when you go out and do something you love and you sell it. It just doesn't get any better than that. It's a big brush. His tongue's sticking out a little bit, but I don't know that I feel that's necessary, so we'll see about that. See, if I had a tone on here, I wouldn't have to be concerned about covering every square inch of this, but all right, look around, see if there's any other little places we might use this light color. Right inside the ear really looks like basically pure transparent red, which is nice. Here, I'm trying to stay back across the brush like this, much as I can. That way I'm working with my whole shoulder, I'm not drawing. Pretty rich color, huh? I see some of it there. And the background is, like you can see, kind of a mottled, out of focus landscape, but I don't know what we'll do with that. We may just paint a light color. I'm not sure at this point. I'm jumping around. Sorry. Knocked my microphone off. Let me put you back on. I apologize. All right, I'm trying to squint because I want to get those shifts in value that I see. Like down here on his jawline is a little bit lighter. That might be too orange. Got this pretty square jawline. Yeah, her work, Jennifer, I was showing you, as realistically as it reads. If you zoom in on it, it's very painterly and very brushy, which works well, I think, when you're painting something with fur. Okay, I put some blue out here, some white in it. A little bit of burnt sienna. Okay, I want to make sure I'm light enough, getting something for his nose. Could probably be a little lighter. I've not got that mixed up very well, so I've got a lot of blue there. My favorite dogs to paint and cats are the ones that are, you know, multicolored, where you have definite blocks of color. A solid black animal or a solid white animal are a lot harder. It does not, I think it's a good lesson to look at other people's work too and see how they handle a subject. And even you can, you know, copy it for practice. Of course, you would never sell it, but nothing wrong in that either. And maybe I'll do that. I'm not saying I will, but maybe I'll bring up one of her dogs and try to paint it, you know, just to see how she handled it. I do try to, like when I'm doing fur, try to lay in the direction of the fur usually. Or get it that way at some point, you know. I think it reads a little better. Just something to think about. This is a big brush, so it is making it more challenging. I'm not saying you have to do that. I just I wanted it again to be painterly, and I thought if I stayed big, it would help that. See, and I'm off. I may have to get more directly behind the photo. I wonder if I'd do better to move the photo over here. I'm going to move the photo to my side maybe and see if that's better. Because I'm not looking at it from behind, I'm looking at it from the side. Makes it more challenging. Like I can see, now that I've moved it more directly in front of me, this nose needs to come up. And we'll see what works, but we may end up, you know, coming back and dragging some color across like that. It's a real, the animal is not, I mean, I see all kinds of dots of different colors in there, so. Got invited to go to a luncheon. I'm doing a couple of pet portraits for a girl I actually graduated with in high school, and she was telling me that some of the girls from my class meet for lunch once a month at a restaurant here in town, because this is where I grew up, so they invited me to meet them. So I'm thinking about it, you know. Don't know how awkward that will be, you know. She's a sweetheart, and I'm sure they all are very nice. I know you got to get to know people again. You know, was I good friends with any of them? No, but I spoke to them all, you know. So I don't know. I'm thinking about going. Hopefully they'll be welcoming, and I'm sure they will. I have a class that never meets. We did a few reunions in the beginning, but no more. It's sadly, we haven't been together in so long. Now we're getting so old, we know each other, you know. Had to put name tags on, right? So. Facebook's nice though, because I'm friends with a lot of the people on Facebook that was in my class, so that's really nice. I'm getting into that blue, which I don't really see in the ear. dark there. And we may need to clean up the shape of that ear before we're done. Let's see if we can do that a little bit. Neck comes up about there. About there. There's a little bit of his back here. I will get out a smaller brush to work on the eyes and that ear. Oh, okay, that one's looking away from us. I was gonna say, it looks so different than the other one. We're looking at the back of it and the inside of that one. Oh, okay. Like everything, the more you look at them, I think the more you understand. There's like a lump right here. I saw a video yesterday of Dolly Parton. She's 77, I think, and she must have been performing at a Dallas Cowboys game, and she had on a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit. She looked pretty good, pretty impressive. She's a tiny, tiny little thing, you know. That helps. I feel like this eye might be a little this way, but I don't know yet. Yeah, look it up. She looked good. Sounds pretty good too. Of course, people think of that as being so old until you get there, right? Not so old anymore. Look like a dog, kind of, don't it? We'll go ahead and get the neck blocked in so we can look at the face. Yeah, like I said, she does a lot of hers and she doesn't even finish the bottom. I guess people don't care. I don't know. I don't know that I would do that. But I looked at her website and everything looks sold, so she's doing something right, isn't she? We'll just get some color on there so we can focus on the face. I think we're going to switch now to a smaller, softer brush so we can take a good look at this, and I might bring this back over so I can look at the eyes. All right. We may end up with a tiny little brush before we're done. We'll see what we need. Yeah, see, this is pretty fat. Let's get a little brush. The other eye, of course, it goes out. Now this brush feels too little. Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't see any white in it. There is a little lighter color down here. I'm gonna get a little lighter than that. You know, and what I like to do for like dogs, which eyes are eyes, is I like to put a little warmth in it. So we'll see what that reads like later on. You know, and we, of course, we need eyelashes, but we don't want to do that until we get the background in. Amazing what the catch light does for it, isn't it? Just kind of wakes it up. Gosh, he's even got bottom eyelashes. Big, long. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, they're there, but I don't know how that would read, you know. We'll think about that. I don't want to stay with this small brush. I gotta get it out of my hand. It's just some of this little tiny eye detail, you know, you just can't really do that with a. So let's lay it down. Put it down, Barb. All right. Let's zoom back out. Maybe we'll go down to the nose here. Boy, it's crazy looking. I can't tell what's going on there. Got some chin whiskers. Dogs and deer's noses are not that much different. You know, usually get a little light at the bottom of the nose hole, and of course light up on the top. Sometimes, of course, they're very pink and stuff, but you gotta look for that. They're all different, but the anatomy is very similar. I think we'll go ahead and mix up something and get the background blocked in here real quick. I'm just thinking a really light, neutral color. I'm throwing in some of the stuff that's laying here and just throwing it all in there together, make something muddy and gray. And let's go back to our bigger bristle brush and get into that color. Okay, so let's zoom back out on him so I can kind of block in around the shape of him. That might be darker than I want, but we'll throw some of it in here because we don't want it a solid color anyway. Oh, it's hard to get away from that. Warmed it up a little bit. All right, let's look how this is made. I'm going to switch off a minute here and get something that's a little bit smaller so I can get in here and do this right, because it comes down and then it comes out around there and then around the eyeball. This kind of puffs out a little. We may even have to add a little bit in that area. We'll see. Got a lot of paint on this brush. and I ignored that little tongue. Maybe that's a mistake. I might want it in the end. All right, let's move this off of here again. Makes you want to paint a deer, don't it? I like animals. Fun to paint things with a face, something looking back at you. I've got to look at everything again, so don't quite judge it yet. That ear may not be quite big enough. They have some pretty nice ears, so. I usually say put the photo away at some point, but you can't unless you really, really completely understand the anatomy of what you're doing. I cooked on Thanksgiving. It was so good. I basted the turkey, which I have done before. Boy, it makes for a good turkey if you've never done it. It's not really difficult. It's mostly water and salt. I put some sugar in it. I found a recipe for peppercorns, but I didn't add the fresh herbs, which you can. It was a great bird. All right, we get paint everywhere. All right, now we're going to start looking at him, see what we need to change and develop. And I can see that this needs to come out a little bit more here. Just starting to make changes that I think it needs. Still feels a bit like one of a type of a dog. I can't think what it is. Like I said, would it look better to put that tongue in? I don't know. Even with this little brush, I can get some nice paint on. You know, load it up heavy and see some nice paint application with that. This is a kind of a strange area here. I guess it could be where he's growing an antler even. I don't know what, it's like a, I'll have to think about that. It might read better without that lump there. I mean, the ear is turned away. I just wonder, you know. I have to show it to my husband, see what he thinks. He's a retired wildlife officer, so he knows a lot about nature and animals, and he'll be the one to tell me if it doesn't look right. Right? Yeah. Let me see what I got going here. All right, let's look at this ear again. Yeah, see, like, doesn't quite feel maybe large enough to me. Yeah, they got some beautiful big ears, don't they? All right, put my arm straight out, measure the height of that ear, bring it over to his head and see where it lands. It lands about there to the bottom of the eye. That's about the height. Oh, that's about right. If in doubt, right? I took away the suggestion of that lump up there. I wasn't sure how that read. All right, let's think about some of those crazy long eyelashes. We could use a little liner brush. I think I'm going to use a palette knife. And we're making something very dark. All right, let me zoom in on there. I don't think I'm doing those bottom ones. That's the actual eyelashes, and then there's all these little fine hairs up here too. Yeah, I got all these crazy, I guess they're eyelashes too. Not sure I want them. I don't know how I feel about them. We'll suggest a few of them, huh? Like I said, if you use a hard panel like this and your animal has white lashes, you can take something very sharp and cut into this. I'm thinking about do a little softening up because I feel like he's a little hard-edged. I feel like the blue should be over a little bit more. Still feels sharp to me, you know. and I think that's helping. I have a friend that's actually a couple that I know, and they're both artists. And she does watercolor and oil, and he's strictly watercolor. Very good artist. And she was just talking to me one day about how, of course, he's always critiquing her, like you would expect. But she said sometimes he'll do one tiny little thing, and it just changes the whole painting. And that's true. If you paint, you know that. Always good to have another eye. That's why if you're not part of a group, it's really nice if you find someone that will critique your work. This edge is in the picture pretty dark, so we'll decide if we... And again, I'm going to look at the mouth and decide. There's the tiniest tip of the tongue hanging out. I felt like I didn't want it, but I'll think about it. Trying to see if there's anything else. Let me zoom back out on him. One thing I do see that's wrong, his neckline actually comes up into here. Clear up into there. That makes him probably feel more deer-like, doesn't it? I'm wondering if I've got his eyes a little wide set, maybe. Possibly. Bringing up the nose a little bit, I think that helps too. I'll make sure you know he's a deer, not a dog. All right. I will take the rest of this background color just because I've got it and put it on because I don't want to waste it. See, I missed my tone. Probably if you look real hard, you can probably see some canvas here and there. That painting I did in town, I sent her a picture of it. And of course, it was very wet, and she's like, "Am I seeing white canvas peeking through? I think I'm seeing white canvas." I said, "Nope, can't be seeing white canvas." I said, "It's pink and orange under there. There's no white canvas." All right, we've been at it just an hour, so I think we'll quit there. Let me get you in front of him. That's the first look I've had at him that way too. This feels a little hard to me. I think the jaw needs to be a little softer. Like I said, his tongue actually sticks out in the photo, which I didn't care for, but a lot of good things, not perfect. I'm gonna define this jaw a little bit more. I don't want this line here, so I'll be softening that, but mostly there. Gives you an idea, so get you right in, let you see the eyes. A little warmth in the eyes really helps, I think. So that's the main thing I see. Got to do a little softening to this edge, and I wanted, I think, to find this jawline, but it's pretty close. All right, I hope you enjoyed watching that. Not much different from a dog. Deer are just sweet animals, aren't they? Just a beautiful color. All right, thanks for joining me like always, and please like and subscribe and watch for me again. All right, thank you for joining me.